So after that convincing 3-0 win at home against Fulham, we now return back to the Etihad for the first game of the Champions League this season, where we'll be taking on Lyon on Wednesday night. It's fair to say we've got a very, very comfortable group compared to what we could have had. We've got Lyon, of course, we've got Hoffenheim, and we've got Shakhtar. Lyon being the first game. Let's talk about where Lyon could be a threat and why we shouldn't take this group for granted. Yes guys, so welcome to today's video. As mentioned, it is of course going to be a preview for the Lyon game on Wednesday night, and it's a game that everyone's expecting us to win. But before we get stuck into this game, let's not forget, if you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a big thumbs up on it. That's always massively, massively appreciated. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and don't forget, love to hear from you all in the comment section down below, whether you agree with anything I'm saying, disagree with anything I'm saying, or you just think I've missed something completely out. Put it in that comment section down below, guys. Love to hear from you and love to get the conversation going down there. But yeah, Lyon, probably in my opinion, the toughest team that we've got. As I've already touched upon, the group is Lyon, City, Hoffenheim and Shakhtar. Compared to what we could have had, we've avoided all of the big teams. Everyone was saying how cushy the group is. And although I kind of agree it is, a fantastic group from our point of view, I do think Lyon offered the biggest task out of the three opposition teams that we're going to be facing, particularly away from home. Obviously, we're playing them at the Etihad first, but they have got some dangerous players, and that is exactly what we're going to be talking about now. Also, guys, forgive me if I do sound a little bit bunged up. I have got a bit of a cold today, as I'm sure you can tell by how my voice sounds. But yeah, Lyon, like I said, I think they're going to offer the biggest challenge for us in this group. They've got a very, what I would describe as a dynamic team. They've got a very young team, and there are some players in there without doubt that can cause problems. I think you look at their attacking midfield in particular, the likes of Dembele, who's moved there from Celtic. He caused us big problems when we played against Celtic in the Champions League a year or so ago. They've also got the likes of Fekir, of course, is linked to a move away to the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal and Man United. A very, very creative midfielder that can hurt you if you give him the time and space. Out wide, they've got the likes of Memphis Depay, of course, had that fantastic start to his career in the Eredivisie. Never quite made it at United, but he's still a very, very dangerous player. And on the other side as well, they've got, what's his name? His name's skipping me. Bertrand Traoré, that was the guy I was trying to think of. Started off his career at Chelsea, obviously. Went out on loan to Lyon. I believe they've now got him on a permanent deal, but another young player with a lot of potential. So the attacking quadrant for Lyon, although it's not up to the standards of City's, let's not get it twisted, there are still some dangerous players in there, and that continues into the rest of the midfield. The way Lyon like to play, it tends to be a very traditional, what I would consider traditional anyway, modern formation, which is the 4-2-3-1. You see a lot of teams playing that, and at the base of that, anchoring the midfield, they've got Toussaint and Dembele, two players that are both very, very young, and both who I think will be moving on from Lyon in the next couple of years, because they've both got huge potentials, particularly Dembele, who has already been linked to a lot. I think the talent in the team only carries on the deeper you go into it. I've just touched upon the fact that they play a 4-2-3-1, which is a very traditional formation these days. And at the anchor of that midfield, they've got Toussaint and Dembele, who are two players with fantastic potential. Once again, I can't see either of those two being at Lyon after a couple of years, because Dembele in particular is very athletic, already been linked to a lot, particularly to Tottenham, I think it was, in the summer, and just a great young player. I think if you look at Lyon in the past, they've never quite been able to hang on to the big stars that they've had there. The likes of Fekir staying has been a big plus for them, because you look at the players they've lost, the likes of Lacazette leaving for Arsenal recently being a prime example. They could have had an incredible team. Tolisso, another one who went to Bayern Munich recently. They've never quite been able to hold on to their star players, so they've done really well to hold on to Fekir. I do think, although they've got a fantastic midfield and attack to potentially harm us, when you look at their defence, that is where they come up a little bit short. They've got Jason Denayer there, of course, formerly of Man City. He'll be looking to prove a point. Only gone there very recently. Started at the weekend in a 2-2 draw, and again, they should be expected to win. Again, falling short, like I say. They've not had the best start to the season by any stretch of the imagination. And Denayer, started that game. I'm sure he'll be starting on Wednesday night, and he'll have a point to prove. The rest of the defence, like I say, certainly isn't the strongest area of the squad, but they have got a good goalkeeper in Anthony Lopez, one of the strongest in Ligue 1. And Lyon are one of the stronger teams in the league. It's got to be said. You look at PSG, who are obviously an anomaly in that league. They've got a phenomenal squad. Then you've got the likes of Monaco and Lyon, Marseille, who have all got really decent squads. You can't take these teams for granted. As we've touched upon, they have got players that can harm us. And although I do expect us to win the game, we can't take it for granted. We can't go into that game expecting to steamroll Lyon, because I'm sure, particularly on the counter-attack where they have got the players, they will be able to hurt us. The likes of Dembele being very quick, Depay being pacey. You know, they've got players there that have the potential to hurt us, and we can't take this game as just a win. We've got to turn up and we've got to make sure we put in the performance and earn that win. Forgive me if there was a little bit of a cut there, guys. My camera just ran out of battery, so I've had to just give that a really quick charge. I'm going to have to power through the end of this video now. But I was just starting to talk about City and how we're going to line up for the game. And I think although this is where you start to see the strength of our the depth that we've got in our team, I don't think you'll see a ton of changes. I think the majority will stay the same. I think Zinchenko is going to be coming in at left back purely because Mendy and Delph both out injured right now. Neither of them are major with the injuries, but neither of them will be fit to play against Lyon. So there is some talk that we could fall back into a 3 at the back and perhaps not play a fullback, play Sane as sort of a left-hand sided player that will get back a bit more. But I do just think you'll see Zinchenko coming in that left-back position like he did last season. I think the rest of the defence will stay pretty much the same. Ederson will, of course, be in between the sticks. You might see Stones coming potentially, but then moving further forward, midfield-wise, I think you're going to see Mahrez and Gundogan coming in. Again, this is where our fantastic depth comes in handy. Mahrez perhaps coming in on that right-hand side in place of Sterling, who's been playing a lot of football, and Gundogan can move in there. Potentially for David Silva, you know, he's been playing a lot of games as well. I mean, we're only 4 games in and I'm saying a lot of games, but you guys know what I mean. Bernardo was electric in that game at the weekend, so I don't want to see him drop particularly, but you might see him dropped for Gundogan. I just think you're going to see Gundogan coming. I'm pretty certain of that, even if it means Fernandinho going out. You know, he has played that role before in the past. And then further forward, maybe you could see Jesus starting, but I don't think he'll be dropping Sergio Aguero anytime soon. So, like I say, I think the team, for the majority of it, is going to stay exactly the same, but there will be the odd change, like I say, Zinchenko, Gundogan, Mahrez, all to come in my opinion. But prediction-wise, I think we'll be okay. We are at home. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. Like I've touched upon, I do think Lyon have got a bit of a threat on the counter-attack, and Fekir can pull the strings if he's given the time. We need to make sure that Fernandinho, Gundogan, whoever is in that anchoring midfield role, is touch tight to him, and make sure that we don't let him, you know, like I say, get the space to, you know, have a crack from range or pick that killer pass. Also got to be careful of the pace out wide. Also, as I already touched upon, Dembele up front, very, very quick. Depay's got pace, even though he didn't start the last game. I think he will start this next one for Lyon against us. And yeah, they've got a lot of pace on both wings as well, so we have got to be careful of that. I do think they will score a goal, but I do think we'll run out comfortable victors. I'm going to say 3-1 on the night, but it's going to be, hopefully, and I feel like I'm saying this in every prediction at the moment, a comfortable game. But that is going to end off this review, guys. As always, like I've mentioned, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to leave a big thumbs up if you have enjoyed the video. But that is going to end it off. I'll speak to you all next time in the review of the game. It should be out shortly after the game Wednesday night, if not Thursday. But yeah, I'll speak to you all there. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. Nidge out.